All right. Welcome back to Correctional Officer Stories with Steve, part 3 of GP Inmates. I was kind of touching on policy and procedure on being an officer and knowing how to handle a GP yard in case you screw up or something happens. Let me tell you something. When I first started, the GP inmates, when they're in their housing units, you have assigned like a laundry porter, somebody that cleans the runs, so they'll clean the showers, they'll clean the staircase, they'll clean the stair rails, they'll wipe down the windows on the cell doors. Here's the thing, a lot of times inmates that aren't on the turnout, that don't have one of those jobs, are trying to come out because they're trying to pass dope, especially on a GP yard, or they're trying to pass commissary, or commissary store, whatever you guys call it. So as a new officer, you have to pay attention to who's on the turnout list. You can't have 50,000 guys out at once. I'll tell you a quick story. I was working a pod with my buddy, and it was kind of slow. I was on his side. We were both working the control rooms, but I had somebody relieve me, and then I came over to talk to him for a little bit. I was over there for like 10 minutes, and we were new officers, so we had, on Baker's side, we probably had all 10 inmates out. And one of the black inmates came up and said, "Hey man, do you mind if I get my hair cut in, let's say, cell Baker 6, which was on the lower run?" We're like, "Yeah, go ahead, man. Just make it quick. And if somebody comes in, if you hear that door open, go lock down." Well, we knew that we probably shouldn't have been doing that, right? So they're in there getting a haircut. And then we look over and their whole cell was filled with inmates, right? And they're probably partying, doing dope, because we can't see all the way in there. One of the dude was getting a haircut, but that's how quick something can happen. If a fight would have went down, or somebody would have got beat down, or a stabbing would have happened, who would have been responsible? Both myself and that officer run that control room because we allowed it to happen. And here comes the sergeant. He's at the door, radioing in, "Hey, can you pop the slider outside?" Because we had control of that. So we had to yell down into the pod, have those guys quickly lock down, stop what they were doing, and get into their cells. And the only people we had out was the laundry porter and the guy that was supposed to be cleaning this, like the showers and the runs. But trust me, soon as they'll ask you, they'll be ringing there's a little button inside their cell that they can ring, that rings up to the control room, and they want out and they say, "Hey, can I go take a shower?" Or there's certain times of the days that weeks that showers are run. Don't let the inmates run your showers, because if it's a white inmate, they're always going to let the whites go first. If it's a Mexican inmate, they're going to let the Mexicans go first. Blacks go first. So it causes tension. So you run the showers. If you were in the control room as an officer, you run the showers and just go cell to cell. You have one, so it's 1 through 12, and then 13 through 25 on the top. If you're in a cell setting, just go one by one. You let cell 1 go, cell 13 go, cell 2 go, cell 14 go. They do their showers, they come back down, and you just keep going in order. Because if you let an inmate run your showers, they're gonna have the whole damn freaking pot out, and you don't have control, and then that shows sign of weakness to me. So run your own showers. Don't let inmates in there cutting each other's hair and having a party in the cell. They were probably doing all kinds of shit in there because we couldn't tell. Who knows? That inmate could have been holding all the dope for the run, or for the actual pod. So that was a learning lesson for myself and that officer. And if that officer's watching this, you know exactly who I'm talking about, who you are. We ended up becoming pretty good friends. Well, really good friends, actually. But it was definitely a learning experience for us. Luckily, the sergeant didn't say anything because we had already got all the inmates locked down. But it wasn't because we were weak. It was just, I think it was a weekend, and we were like, F it, But that's the mentality that you don't want to have. You don't want to have that lackadaisical mentality that, you know what, I'm just going to let the inmates do what they want, and if something happens, oh well. That's not cool, because you're going to end up losing your job. Somebody gets stabbed, there's a hanging, there's a beat down, somebody gets beat up in the showers. You're not getting, if your floor officer is out there on the yard helping feed, or he's up in the admin building or whatever, if he's not able to respond right away to get that stopped, and even if he's just one person, it's going to take some time for your floor officer to respond. And a lot of times they're up in the control room with you. They might be eating, or they might be watching the pod too. They're not constantly in the pods. They do their walks every 30 minutes. But, you know what I'm saying? Like, just keep on paying attention, especially if you're a new officer. Don't let these inmates come up to you and game you. And on a GP yard, they will definitely try PC too, but more GP because there's more dope, there's more phones, there's just more contraband all the way around. So pay attention as a new officer, and that's, you know, and take what I just told you as an example. That's going to happen to you all the time. They're constantly going to try to get out of their cell and tell you that they're a worker, or tell you that they got to go to class, or tell you that they got to go to work. Don't kick those inmates out of that pod, especially on a level 4 yard. You got to clear it through the tower before they come out. And if you kick an inmate out and they're not supposed to be out and they're just hanging out on the yard, which has happened plenty of times, and they beat somebody down or something bad happens, that's your ass. That's your job. So trust me, I used to see inmates out as my career went further, out there picking up butts. I would call to the control and be like, hey, is this so-and-so inmate supposed to be out here? No, I don't see him on the turnout. Well, he gamed the control room officer. He's out there picking butts, smoking, dicking around. And I'm going to be honest, that happened. I saw that more on a protective custody yard than I did on a GP yard, because I'm telling you, there's more structure. Yeah, they're trying to game you, but there's more structure. If they're trying to get out, a lot of times they're trying to do work, or they're something's trying to go down. So just keep it freaking paid attention. You have to. Remember, you're in a prison setting. They're in there for something bad usually, and you know, they got all the time in the world. So they're going to study you. They're going to see if you're weak. They're going to know if they can game you. Just keeping it 100 with y'all. So you don't have to go out of your way to be a fucking asshole, but there's sometimes that you have to step up and, you know, hold your ground. Trust me. So just telling you how it is, man. I had to do that a lot on a protective custody yard because some of these youngsters have a fucking disrespectful mentality. They don't care. And a lot of times you'll see it on a GP yard nowadays too, because a lot of youngsters are coming in. They don't know how to be a convict. They're just a straight inmate. And that's how they end up getting rolled off the yard. There's a lot of these old-timer convicts. They're like, man, get me out of here. Like, let me go do my time in peace. You know what I'm saying? Like, they ended up letting some of these SSU officers who all they do is investigate gangs all day, let them point them out, because they're tired of being, you know, on the yard with these chumps that don't listen and are trying to take over. So I will bring you a part 4 here probably sometime this week. I will talk about some of the different gangs within a GP yard. Hit me with some comments. Let me know what you want to hear. And then we'll move on to, after 4, we'll move on into a different topic. But as a new officer coming in, pay attention. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to lose your job and the benefits you get and the decent pay. You can get as much overtime as you want. I mean, I'm telling you, health benefits are a lifesaver. You can't come out of pocket with some of that shit. It's expensive as hell. And you have a retirement. So it's different nowadays. It's a 401k, but it's better than nothing. Trust me. So keep your head up. Message me if you got any questions. Like, share, and subscribe to me. Trying to get to that 1,000 mark. Thank y'all. Peace.